Kate, owner of productivity software company Simply.Digital. This video is going to be a plan with me. Specifically, we are going to plan my main summer vacation together. And it's going to be real. I really need to get organized and make some plans regarding this trip that for current me in the past for you is coming up in 2 weeks. I'm planning on uploading this video like at the end of the trip, even though I have basically zero concern about letting anyone know where I'm going to be. My kids will be with me, so that does feel like the prudent thing to do. Speaking of my kids being home, I do have one of them home today. She's currently doing an art project, but I do expect to get interrupted. So if you see my hair like suddenly change or the lighting change, you caught me. That's me editing out interruption, which I definitely expect to happen. So let's jump in. I'm going to use one of my own company's printables to kind of guide me. This is the travel planner. The first half is about like making your travel bucket list and turning that into a plan, like all the trips you really want to eventually take someday or take as soon as possible, to kind of like make a plan and think about like how old you're going to be or just like what else is going to be happening, and to like put those together and really start making all those dreams a reality. But the second half is actually organize like a specific trip, and that's what we're doing today. Okay, so put aside the first half for now, and jumping right into part 2, which is the planning a specific trip. Now we're starting off with the to-do list. First thing is pick out dates, which let me double check them. Okay, yep, I definitely have my dates. This trip's coming up so soon. And I want to put things in my travel detail sheet as I go through there. Okay, here we go. So that's my trip. And we're going to be flying July 25th. August 10th, 11th, because when you fly back from the US to Europe, it's almost always going to be a red eye, so it's kind of like 2 days. Okay, so we can move back. Done. Yeah, okay, yeah, I have my flights. Staying, yep, that's done. Stay with my parents. Book or set a reminder for activities that need to be scheduled in advance. That's done. The things I did need to do in advance are booked. Pet sitting arrangements. This still needs to be done. Now, I'm going to fly with my cat. So because it's actually 2 different flights, so it's handled by United going there and Swiss Airlines coming back, or vice versa. So I have to call each airline and add the cat to the itinerary. And with United, it's all done. With Swiss Airlines, when I called them, he like couldn't quite see it confirmed. So he told me to wait a couple days and call back and make sure it's confirmed. I still need to do that. And passports, we have those. Again, I'm sure I have a couple other things to do, but okay. Oh, look for some nice places to eat. Well, let's see. I know where I'm going to be going, so I'm not going to worry about doing that. Make a packing and shopping list. We still need to do that. Transportation from where I'm there, I'm not worried about that. Logistics, I've already arranged for my mommy to pick me up from the airport. Researching activities, I want to do that today, and making a rough schedule, we're going to do that today. The week before, typically that's next week. But let me just take a little look ahead, because like I said, we're 2 weeks out from the trip. Don't wear any clothing I want to bring. Someone trusted. Actually, okay, so I already I have copies of our passports. This looks good. So I'm going to move on to either, let's see what's next. Okay, so budget for the trip. I think I'm going to skip this for today. But basically, yes, you're like booking things. This is a place to lay out the budget. But I basically already bought everything. So there's not a lot of point for me to do this now. Okay, activities. Okay, so this is for my... this is like the main thing I really need to do. So I know I need to visit some family. Specifically, I know my kids really want to see some of their cousins, so definitely want to visit them. It would be really nice to make like a Hoboken trip for my Hoboken cousins. I'd really like to visit my cousin Michelle and see my godson, because I missed his... my godson's been confirmed since I last saw him, and I feel like I have some godmother duties there. Now, of course, some more fun things. So I really want... we already actually bought tickets for Sesame Place. I know the kids really like going to Crayola. And we've already made some plans to go camping. Now, these are all kind of things that are going to pretty much take up like a day, because this is not meant to be like multiple activities in a day kind of a trip. So like, I might just kind of number these. Okay, so like that's already more than half the days out doing things, and I want to spend some days just like at home in the pool, relaxing a bit. So that's probably like, I don't need to come up with more activities than that. Oh, of course I need to see some friends. This friend is in Boston, which is not that close to New Jersey, where we're going to be based. But yeah, let's see what we can do, because it is definitely a lot closer than here in Switzerland. And at a minimum, we'll definitely like arrange like a Skype, like a video date, and like sometimes we'll like watch a movie together. We can do it at nighttime when it's both of our nighttime, because here with the time difference, it's really hard because she's a bit more of a night owl, and the time difference makes it so we have like no hours overlapping where we're both awake and not working. Oh, before I get rid of this page, so like location, it's all, you know, this would make more sense like if this is a trip to Paris, I would put like the neighborhood in the location. Or like if this was like a Disney trip, I would put like which park it's in or something like that. And then like the hours, of course, that's gonna help guide you like making your plans. Requires a reservation, so like none of these do, but I do need to, of course, like the equivalent of a reservation with all of the like other people I want to see. Okay, so then that's going to be like my next big task planning this trip is like contacting all those people. Oh, actually, yeah, I should make like a New York City day. Oh, do I want to do that with the kids or just with my friends? I went to the university up in Boston, and a fair amount of my friends ended up in New York City. So yeah, it's always nice to go there. But yeah, now I have. Yeah, and of course camping is a couple days, so like now my 2-week trip is looking actually really full. Okay, so here I have a kind of like brainstorm some things I want to do during this trip. Good to keep in mind, like while I'm doing my next step, which is going to be packing. Now here I have 2 packing lists here in this printable. Like one's just blank and one has some starter info. I'm going to use the starter info one. What I personally always do with my packing list is I always scan them when I'm done and save it like in a Google Drive folder for my packing lists. And then the next time I take a trip that's like similar, I look back at that and I use that, like I copy over everything that like I want to do again. So like, for example, this is not my first time going to see my parents in the summer. So I'm going to look up my last summer packing list. Actually, no, not last summer. My last time I went to New Jersey in the summer with the kids, and that's going to be like, that's going to get me 80% there with my packing list and everything I need, and just take care of a lot of that like mental load of like thinking of all the things. I find like I really like to have a super, super good packing list with like every silly little thing on the list. And then the actual packing, I'm not using my brain. I'm just getting all the things. And you do end up using your brain because you're like walking around the house and you're like, you've got the next 3 things you want to grab in your list and you're doing that. But you're not actually thinking about what you need. You're just getting it. And that's still actually really time consuming. You'd think just like getting all these things from around your house and putting them in a suitcase. I always underestimate how much time that's going to take, but it's a lot of walking back and forth. Even I live in an apartment, though it's a 4-bedroom apartment, but still like, yeah, it just takes a lot more time than you think to just gather all your stuff. But I like to start with a really good packing list. So for real, I'm actually going to look up my packing list. Like I said, not last summer. So last summer we didn't go to visit family in New Jersey. We went to Disney. And then again, so when I packed for that Disney trip last summer, I looked up my Disney packing list from the first time we went to Disney, because we've been twice. And then, yeah, that got me like 80% there with like all the things I wanted to bring. Okay, I have found my packing list. I couldn't find 2023 actually, which is odd enough, but I have 2022. And that's the same thing. It's going to get me 75-80% of the way there. Now I'm just going to kind of like, yeah, copy over anything on here that I want to also have on this trip's packing list. So just a little note, my partner is actually staying home for this trip. So he'll be home. So on the like the departure day, I have a couple checklists here that are about more like closing up your house and being ready like at your destination. So I've kind of crossed those out because I don't need to do those because he'll be here. Okay, back to copying over. Headphones are 4X because all three of us need like comfy airplane ones. And I'm also gonna bring like a small earbud or something to just, use when I don't want to wear like my big airplane ones maybe during the trip. Okay, so yeah, I've just gone through my last packing list and kind of added that to this template, and really I think that's gonna be everything I need. Yeah, this looks like I'm sure there'll be things that kind of pop up in my head. Oh, actually here, I did this one part wrong. This was already for here. I'll make sure I have my driver's license when I'm in New Jersey. And yeah, so actually I'm gonna take a little pause here. A little one needs some attention, and we're gonna come back and see what's next to do. Okay, I'm back from a little break where I ironed these things and did the laundry. So we just finished up with the packing list. Now let's see, took a peek already, and after the packing list, here is actually making the schedule. And now the way this planner has it, just has like this 6 days, and if you're taking a longer trip, you just print out extra pages, which I did right after I stopped recording before. All right, so first I'm gonna fill in the fixed dates, and then some things that don't have a fixed date might be kind of obvious where they fit in, and yeah, we'll just take it from there. So I'm just gonna fill in all the dates here. I need another paper. I'm gonna print that out. Okay. Okay. So actually this worked out perfect because this is actually when we fly home. Okay, now the only other, so I just asked my mom if there's any like family parties that I wasn't aware of. And the only thing we really have fixed is the camping, which is, my uncle will be there the 4th through the 8th, and we're gonna pick some subset of that time to stay. Okay, so now I have this sort of little mini calendar, and I'm going to get that activity sheet, all the things I want to do. Yeah, kind of fill them in. Now, let's see. Weekends are going to be the best time to visit other people. And we have that first weekend we arrive. The next weekend, that's like a really good one. And then we do have one last weekend before we go. So what I'm going to basically do is just take the Saturdays and Sundays and kind of mark them off as like option to go visit somebody. But that last day, I want to stay home, and like normally my aunt will come visit one last time, and so I know the last. Okay. And actually, I do the other thing on today. I want to go shopping. Okay, so I have I have 5 like days open for friend visits. How many people do I want to visit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus Allison. So, okay, if I don't go up to Boston, which looks unlikely anyway, that would fit just right. And actually, if I could pick anyone, I would have that last day, maybe Lisa, my best friend, which my podcast with, because then that's like closer to home. It's gonna be like a 15-20 minute drive rather than an hour drive. Everyone else is an hour away. Okay. Let's see if any of these other things just naturally fit in. And this actually works so great because the other things I want to do, like go to Sesame Place and Crayola Factory, I would rather do that stuff on the weekdays. You know, like I'm on vacation, my mom's retired, I'm not restricted to the weekends, so those big things that like locals flood to on the weekends, I want to avoid them on the weekends. From that, like kind of looking, big travel day, the weekend we'll want to visit people, Monday we would want to do something like fun with the kids, so either Sesame Place or Crayola. And then for me, Tuesday, I would be happy to just be home, maybe go shopping. And then, yeah, we can do something fun again Wednesday. And here, actually, there is like a big gap here. Yeah, in theory now, this like that big middle week could be some space to maybe try to do something like visit Allison. I'll have to message her and see that out. But anyway, you kind of see how this would work. So this is, I'm just going to basically kind of like fill in the things. Mostly here, I need to contact everyone who I want to see and like get them in the schedule. Then that's that. Now the only thing next to the planner we haven't done is here I have these like travel details, and I don't need this so much for this trip since I'm going home and it's gonna like I know it all kind of off the top of my head, but definitely if I was going somewhere else, like these would be where I keep the really important information. And I think I would fill it out anyway because I really like to have our confirmation numbers like on physical paper, and then like I will have this with me. I'm actually more nervous about getting through the airport than I ever have been before. Although me and the kids both have US passports. But yeah, the cat, you know, her details and things, I think it might be nice. I'd like to just have like a paper copy of the important stuff, just in case, you know, what happens if I lose my phone? You know, like there's some really important information still like to have. You know, I would have to really think. It might take me more than one try to get my mom's cell phone number off the top of my head. Okay, now, yeah, to-do list we've already looked at, and that kind of brings us back to the beginning. And yeah, I feel a lot more organized with this trip. I know exactly what I have to do next, besides the things on this to-do list. So let's see here. We can check off, speaking of the cat. You can come. Yes, for planning your trip. She just realized that I was inside a room with a closed door, and she's not happy about it. All right, we can keep going with the cat. Where do you want, Stella? Where do you want to go? All right. Okay, so make the packing list and shop for anything. Cat here. Make my shopping list. We did that together just now. Researching activities. I did that. Making a rough schedule. I did that. So next thing, what I really need to do is, the next thing I really need to do is like make plans with friends I want to see. Cosmos Airlines. I already highlighted that before. And I'm also putting my to-do list to fill in that travel detail page that I just showed you, this one. I don't want to do that on video because it's just all like confirmation numbers and phone numbers. Like, that'd be weird to put that online. Please don't chew my microphone. Okay, but I think Stella is here to say we're done. And I really do, yeah, feel like we're done. And I can't believe I actually finished this before lunch, even with the interruptions with the kiddo being home. That is how I would organize a trip. That's how the travel planner works. If you're interested in travel planner, I guess I probably should plug that. The printable store for my company, Simply.Digital, is located on Etsy. And so the URL, if you want to like get right to that shop, is paper.simply.digital. And I can also put a link below directly to the travel planner, though we only have like 3 products in the store. And yeah, I guess that's it. Gonna take a trip, see my family, see some friends, and I'm really excited. And I also, maybe at some point I'll go through the, oh sorry about the microphone. I'll go through the part 1 of the travel planner, which kind of really gets like that travel bucket list. And Stella, I'm talking. If you've watched my videos before, thank you very much for following along. If you stumbled across this one for your first one, I have lots of them. Please do check them out if you like my personality, if you like how I explain things. I'm sure you'll find other videos of mine that you like. Put a recommended video here. And yeah, if you are interested in more travel content specifically, I have thought a lot about making a video for traveling with kids, since I do this transatlantic flight multiple times a year with kids. Since they were little babies and now they're big kids, and it's actually pretty easy. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and for joining me and giving me an excuse to actually get this done. I got 2 tasks done. 1, I got my video made, and I got my travel planning done. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for joining me. Ciao. Make a cute little face for the end screen. She is purring. I'm not tormenting her. Maybe a little bit. Subscribe for more.